Fireworks in the Motor City. Freed and Woo duel in Seattle. We got multiple extra inning games. And, of course, we've got some walk-offs. We're taking you all around Major League Baseball. It is MLB Game Night. Every game, every night. Let's do it.
When that final out is made, you know it's time for Locked On MLB Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before. Only on Locked On MLB Game Night. Your team every day.
Welcome into MLB Game Night. J.D. Hafron from Locked On Cardinals. Jon Frisch from Locked On Angels. Happy to be with you guys once again. Another great day of baseball around the league today. Lots of exciting games to get to. It's like just some crazy finishes. A lot of bonus baseball today. 4 teams scored 10 or more runs. We had multiple games that were decided by just one run, and we're going to start things in Detroit. Boston Red Sox at the Tigers. This one was so good that they actually had to go to extra innings to find a winner. Too much fun happening in Detroit, and what an incredible finish. Here is Scott from Locked On Tigers, who honestly might need some medical attention after this one.
I'm trying to do my breathing exercises that my therapist taught me. Okay, calm down a little bit. My brain is going a billion miles an hour. Javier Báez walk-off 3-run homer in extras to take down the Boston Red Sox. I think I'm Scott Bentley, host of Locked On Tigers. I don't even know really what day it is right now. I'm sure I got a noise complaint from my neighbors. I am blown away. That is a 2-home run game for Javy, 6 RBIs. He played plus defense in center field, which he's been doing all season. And one of the 2 home runs was a walk-off. This has transcended, Tigers fandom and the Tigers media sphere, and is now on a national scale. The production he's giving in center, everything just amazing. And the best thing about the Detroit Tigers, who have the best record in the American League, by the way, in case you haven't heard, they're up 2-0 in a series and have Tarek Skubal going tomorrow. We'll talk about that more tomorrow on Locked On Tigers, if I can remember who I am.
Well, we'll be sure to send Scott some oxygen. Meanwhile, here's Gabby from Locked On Red Sox with her thoughts on this game and manager Alex Cora.
The Boston Red Sox had another infuriating loss tonight, and Alex Cora's poor management decisions cost them once again. I'm Gabby Maljanian from Locked On Red Sox, and wow, what a night where the Red Sox kept answering the call on offense. The game kept going back and forth. Every time that there was a lead change, the Red Sox would come back and they would answer and they'd respond offensively, but then the pitching would go the opposite way and give up the lead. And Alex Cora was managing late in the game and threw Greg Weisser in both the 10th and the 11th inning. After he struggled through the 10th inning and had a really high pitch count after that inning, Alex Cora decided it was a good idea to throw him again in the 10th. And that ultimately cost the Red Sox the game. They went up by 2 runs in the 11th inning and then lost on a walk-off 3-run homer by Javier Báez. Tune in to Locked On Red Sox for more on Alex Cora and the management decisions.
All right, John. So final score in this one, you had the Tigers winning at 10-9 walk-off fashion in 11. Last year, I think a lot of us were caught, at least me personally, I shouldn't speak for you, but last year, caught off guard by the Tigers' success, not only during the regular season, but then in the playoffs. They sweep Houston. They pushed the Guardians to the brink in Game 5 of the ALDS. Skubal, we know, is amazing. You've got the ghost of Javier Báez that is back, has risen, is alive and well in center field for Detroit. Spencer Torkelson has blossomed into the guy that they thought he'd be when they took him number 1 overall. Another former number 1 overall pick, Casey Mize. He's 6-1. Do you see this lasting, John? Are the Tigers really the best team in the American League?
It seems like everybody's arrived all at the same time, and then it certainly helps when, Javier Báez finds second life as a center fielder, by the way. And so maybe that's just all it took was a position change. But here's the thing. They sold at the deadline last year and still managed to sneak into the playoffs and then have a good little run. And we all know anything can happen in the playoffs. So as far as buying into this Tigers team, I buy it, man. I'm sold on the Detroit Tigers.
Yeah, it's almost like, well, we don't know that we're good yet. Oh, wait, we are good.
Yeah, we are.
They're proving it here in 2025. Moving on to the Yankees at the Mariners. A couple of teams here who are saying, hey, when you're talking about best teams in the American League, don't forget about us. They're locking horns in Seattle. Yankees and Mariners continued that series. The Mariners were losers of 4 in a row coming into this one. 9 innings was not enough for this game either. Here's Ty from Locked On Mariners on all the action at T-Mobile Park.
Over the Mariners in their losing skid at 4 games. This is Ty Gonzalez, host of the Locked On Mariners podcast here. Mariners beat the Yankees 2-1 on a walk-off single by J.P. Crawford. And that's about all I'm willing to acknowledge from what happened from the 9th inning onward in this game. Because, yeah, no, I'm not doing it. Hey, Brian Wu was sensational tonight, and that should not go overlooked whatsoever, despite everything that happened after he left this game. You got your first really good start out of your rotation in a while. That is huge. He was amazing tonight. Gabe Spire and Matt Brash were also amazing tonight. Brash especially. He shoved Aaron Judge in a locker and took his lunch money on 3 pitches. It was so sick. And you know what? I lied. I actually do have to acknowledge something that happened after the 9th inning debacle. That's Carlos Vargas and Casey Legumina. Absolute dogs keeping things at 1-1, allowing the Mariners to have a chance to win this game. And that they did. Took a while. Took a roundabout way to get there, but the Mariners able to stop the bleeding here of their 4-game losing streak, and they'll try and win a series tomorrow against this Yankees ball club. We'll see if they can get it done. And we'll talk to you on the Locked On Mariners postgame show tomorrow afternoon. See you then. Peace.
John, I don't know if you're a big wrestling fan. Is it hard for you to hear or say the word Brian Wu without doing the Ric Flair Wu?
I'm a huge wrestling nerd, JD. I'm so glad you brought that up. If I don't know if they do this at T-Mobile Park, but if they don't do a Ric Flair woo for every strikeout that Brian Wu gets, then you're certainly missing out on something special there.
Yeah, get it together, Seattle. All right, moving on. Dodgers it was A's at the Dodgers. A's and Dodgers in LA. A's right on the heels of the Mariners in the AL West, while the Dodgers have, an injured list of just studs that are not playing for them right now, and they're holding on for dear life in the NL West. Here is Booney from Locked On A's with the rundown of what happened in this game.
The A's rolled into Dodger Stadium with nothing but grit, guts, and a few guys casual fans have never heard of. This is Booney from Locked On A's, and Jacob Wilson led the charge with an unforgettable 4-hit night, including 2 no-doubt homers that had LA fans heading for the exits before the 7th inning stretch. Wilson looked like a superstar in a lineup full of underdog swagger. Nick Kurtz, he picked a hell of a night to hit his first career bomb, an opposite field shot. Meanwhile, Jeffrey Springs, well, he made Eddie Harris from the movie Major League look like a fireballer who threw jalapeno ball after jalapeno ball, slicing through the Dodgers lineup, 7 innings, 1 run, 0 fear. Springs made MVPs look like call-ups and gave the A's bullpen a night off. The A's just walked into one of baseball's most hyped ballparks, and let's just say, lights, camera, beat down.
Hey, them's fighting words right there.
Ric Flair woo for that one. Woo!
Oh my gosh! All right, the Dodgers just placed. They're dealing with these injuries, right?
Yeah.
Not to take anything away from the A's, but the Dodgers are dealing with some injuries. Roki Sasaki goes on the 15-day IL with a right shoulder impingement prior to this game. They don't have Snell. They don't have Glass now. They don't have Sasaki. Ohtani isn't ready to pitch yet. Kershaw set to come back this week. You're still missing Teoscar Hernandez and Tommy Edman, who are both getting close to returning. But in your opinion, John, can the Dodgers survive this wave of injuries?
Don't they always have someone, right? They always have somebody, the next man up with the Dodgers. You find some random guy from the minor leagues who can come up and tear it up. So they certainly, I think they have the depth to overcome this. I know they got destroyed by the A's, but being led by probably the American League Rookie of the Year, Jacob Wilson, at least so far as the season has started, man, he's on one. But look, the Dodgers, they just have an endless supply of guys who can step up. And then it's not only that, they actually get something out of those guys who step up as well. So I think the Dodgers are going to be fine. But it does feel pretty good to see them lose 11-1 to the A's. I'm not saying the A's are bad, but hey, give it up to the Athletics for taking this one in such a beatdown.
We've got an interleague matchup that went to extra innings that we want to talk about next. We'll get to it right here on MLB Game Night. Supply House. Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades at Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, whether it's HVAC or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product information to help you get the job done right, which is what you're trying to do in the first place. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400-plus top brands, you're going to find exactly what you need. It's going to get delivered fast from coast to coast. And if you need help with an order, one of the great things about Supply House is that they offer expert support and industry-leading service where you're always talking to a real person. And for trade pros, and you're looking for an extra edge, of course you are, their free Trade Master program that offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, you get free shipping, and discounts on every order you make. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage. Now it is your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, you use the promo code SH5, you're going to get 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Welcome back to MLB Game Night. Going around the league, we're going to make our way to Cincinnati. All right, so the Reds are returning home after a 7-game road trip that saw them go 2-5, struggling a bit, while the White Sox just took 2 of 3 at home against the Marlins. But they have the exact same record coming into this night as they did this time last year, John.
Wow.
When they ended up losing 121 games. And we got more bonus baseball in the Queen City for this one. Here is Jeff Carr from Locked On Reds, and you might want to back up just a little bit because our dude is heated.
Never seen a worse display of baseball than what the Cincinnati Reds just did on Tuesday, May the 13th. 5-1-3 day as they lose 5-1 to the Chicago White Sox. What's up? This is Jeff Carr from the Locked On Reds podcast. And it would be enough to say that the Reds were officially the 4th road win of the season for the Chicago White Sox. Previously, they were 3-17. It would be enough to say that the Cincinnati Reds went 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position in one game. It would be enough to say that the Cincinnati Reds committed enough base running mistakes to fill a space cruiser and lose a ball game. But they did it all on the same night. And then they left in a relief pitcher too long. And then they couldn't hit the ball. And they did every possible thing you could think of to lose a ball game. I am at my wit's end with this ball club. They have got to get better in some way, or I am going to go insane.
Some would argue that Jeff is already there, John. Final score in this one was 5-1 in 10 innings. Ellie De La Cruz hit a home run in the 9th inning to tie that game up and send it into extra innings, and then the White Sox were able to jump all over the relievers in that 10th inning. Some other major news around Major League Baseball today that had something to do with these two teams was the reinstating of late Reds legend Pete Rose and the White Sox shoeless Joe Jackson and his teammates from that Black Sox scandal back in 1919. Ironically, they played the Reds in that World Series. But important to note, if you're thinking about this, is that them coming off the permanently ineligible list does not include automatic admission into the National Baseball Hall of Fame. That doesn't mean that Pete and the guys are all going in right away. It's a separate entity, but they are now eligible for consideration. So we'll see what ends up coming out with that. Moving on to Cleveland, to the land. The Milwaukee Brewers are there. Two teams going in different directions, John. The Guardians have one of the best records in the American League. The Brewers still kind of trying to figure out who their and what their identity is. We're going to start with Justin of Locked On Guardians and hear what he has to say about this one.
Seems like not that long ago we were talking about the Guardians having to throw out position players to pitch. Now, the Guardians have thrown 2 back-to-back shutouts, thanks to Logan Allen going 6 scoreless on Tuesday night against the Milwaukee Brewers. Justin Latta from Locked On Guardians. The Guardians have back-to-back shutouts for the first time in a year. The last time it happened, also May 12th and 13th of 2024. How's that for weird? Logan Allen able to locate the fastball up and in and up and away all night. Mixing in the cutter has really helped him out a lot, keeping guys off the fastball. It was the most effective his fastball has been in quite some time. And the velocity wasn't even that great, but mixing in the cutter and the sweeper has really kept hitters off the fastball. Helps Milwaukee hasn't been a great offensive team this year, but he executed very well. And offensively for the Guardians, Jose Ramirez last night went out and did it with his legs. Tonight he does it with both. He hits the home run in the first inning, ends up getting on an infield single and scores from first on a bad defensive play triple. That's what makes Jose Ramirez so special. The Guardians will go for the sweep against the Milwaukee Brewers on Wednesday, and that comes at a great time because the Guardians' upcoming road trip is going to really test them here at the end of the month of May. Tune in to Locked On Guardians tomorrow for more.
Now I want to jump over to poor Chuck Freeman, reporting from the golf course. John, to vent his frustrations with the Brewers. What does Chuck have to say about another shutout loss?
Hey guys, I had to get away from the TV set, get out here and try to get some holes in before nightfall. What a frustrating night. Hi everybody, Chuck Freeman, Instant Reaction, Locked On Brewers. Shut up for a second night in a row. I mean, if they don't care, why are we even caring at this point? You got Daz Cameron batting in the 2 spot. Is Daz Cameron even worth being in the major leagues at this point? I mean, God bless the kid. He's the son of Mike Cameron, but look at his lineup we're throwing out there. Just absolutely brutal. Could have won these 2 games. Score some runs. I mean, putting all the pressure on the pitching staff once again. It's getting old. See, we're going to throw away the season on this road trip. We'll talk about all that and more coming up tonight on the next edition of Locked On Brewers. Please subscribe. We'll try to figure out what's going on with these guys. Is it a slump or are these guys just flat out bad?
Hard to feel bad for Chuck while he's out in the sunshine on the golf course. But
Right.
The Brewers have yet to find their stride so far this season. Now, John, I'm going to put you in the shoes of the people in charge, all right?
Okay.
If you had to choose one or either William Contreras or Christian Yelich, who do you think turns it around first? Who would you roll with as the guy that you think is going to lead the charge to get the Brewers offense going again?
I think I'm going to go Yelich. Look, him and Contreras are both about 10% under league average in terms of OPS plus. Not a bad place to be. I mean, that's kind of essentially a cold streak, but I know Contreras should be a tier 1 catcher, but to get 91 OPS plus from your catcher is kind of where catchers sit, to be honest with you. So to have Christian Yelich, first of all, be healthy. I know he's DHing a lot, so they can keep him on the field, but when Christian Yelich is on, he's on, man. And so I think it's just a matter of time before he finds it again. But with both of those guys slumping right now, you can understand the frustration in Milwaukee.
Arizona Diamondbacks at the Giants tonight, NL West matchup between the two. Can the magic of Robbie Ray continue for San Francisco? Also, one of the big prospects in Major League Baseball coming up for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Tell me about Jordan Lawler, John.
Yeah, the 4th best prospect in baseball, according to MLB Pipeline, back with the Diamondbacks after making a short stint in 2023. He was hurt for a lot of 2024. Back in the lineup for the first time this year. Unfortunately, 0 for 3 with a walk and a strikeout. And look, even despite some impressive performances from Corbin Carroll, 2 for 5 with his 14th home run of the season. Josh Naylor, 2 for 5, 4 RBIs. The Diamondbacks just did not have enough to overcome Robbie Ray and the Giants offense, who just came storming back. We know Ben was frustrated with the offense in last night's game, but here they are storming back, right, JD?
Yeah, they sure did. They were able to take care of things with Brandon Pfaadt. He's been pretty darn good for Arizona so far this year. Jung-Hoo Lee had a good game. Willie Adames hit his 5th home run of the season. And, of course, Robbie Ray. Nobody can beat him. Nobody can beat him. Do you think the Mariners look back and go, maybe we should have kept Robbie Ray around?
Ooh, right about now, yeah. When you're down George Kirby and Logan Gilbert, that would not be a bad thing to have Robbie Ray in your Mariners rotation right now. But hey, they're finding a way to get it done in that pitching staff. So
True.
they really didn't get anything back for him. It's kind of a salary dump situation. But yeah, I'd want Robbie Ray the way he's pitching right now, 6-0 on the year. I'd want him in my rotation for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Washington Nationals at the Atlanta Braves. Nationals have lost 6 in a row. Meanwhile, the Braves trying to do something for the very first time this season. We got Jake from Locked On Braves here to tell you all about it.
The Atlanta Braves finally get back to 500 after a 5-2 win over the Washington Nationals on Tuesday night. Jake Mastriani here from Locked On Braves. And Drake Baldwin, player of the game in this one. 3 hits, including a big 2-run home run off of former Brave Michael Soroka to tie the game up. Spencer Schwellenbach on the mound was really good in this game, too. The bullpen held things down, giving Raisel Iglesias a night off, and Pierce Johnson finishes it up. But Drake Baldwin, you got to find ways to get his bat in the lineup. He might be one of the best hitters that the Braves have right now. Obviously, Sean Murphy, good too and great behind the plate. But what Drake Baldwin is bringing you at the dish, you've got to find more ways to use his bat and get him in the lineup because he is red hot right now and had a great game here tonight on Tuesday, helping the Braves get a 5-2 win. We'll talk more about Drake Baldwin and how the Braves can get him in the lineup over on the postcast and the next episode of Locked On Braves.
Now, things have certainly taken a major downturn for the Washington Nationals right now. Ryan from Locked On Nationals is more than concerned with what's going on with his team.
At some point, you just got to sit here and kind of laugh. 7 straight losses for the Washington Nationals, and it's officially time to panic. I'm Ryan Clary from Locked On Nationals. The Nationals, again, lost their 7th straight game today. They had 3 hits in the final 5 innings of this ball game. Michael Soroka in his return went 81 pitches, 4 innings, did give up a couple earned runs there. Overall, looked pretty good. But the story of today's game, when you have James Wood going 0 for Keibert Ruiz and Nathaniel Lowe in the middle of that lineup, that's never going to get you enough. This Nationals offense could not get enough runs on the board against a very hot Atlanta Braves team. You're going to have to try to avoid the sweep. You have 4 games. You have tomorrow, and then you have Thursday. Can the Nats do it? Not going to lie, I don't have faith in them.
Oof. For those on YouTube, I do have the panic button up and available if Ryan needs to borrow that. I haven't needed that for my Cardinals so far this year. But, John, the NL is packed with a lot of good teams. You think the Braves, when they do finally get healthy, do they have enough to get back into this thing for good?
Well, when you got Spencer Strider coming back, you got Acuna Jr. coming back, I think they just need their mojo back, JD. And the fact is when you have everybody that you have on this roster back together, I think some special things can happen for the Atlanta Braves. They're just missing their core right now. And so to have, the boys are back in town, right? That's what you want. And so maybe they should play a little bit of that to get everybody fired up. But I think once they're back, I think they can certainly turn this season around. And they're already back to 500. That's a good place to start.
Yeah, Ronald Acuna Jr. homered in the first game of his minor league rehab stint on Tuesday night, for those of you keeping track at home. I know you were keeping track of this one. Angels in San Diego after their crazy win on Monday. Can the Halos shock them again? We'll talk about it next on MLB Game Night. All right, Angels and Padres. Obviously, last night was a great game for the Angels fans, not so much for the Padres fans. Angels shocked the world last night with Suarez blowing his first save since, last September? Right. Could they ride the momentum into this one against the Friars? Let's start with Javy from Locked On Padres here. John, I'd advise you to look away, maybe use some earmuffs here. This one might stink.
My beautiful boy, my beautiful sweet prince, Fernando Tatis Jr. Here he is right here. Look at him looking great. Walk-off home run for the San Diego Padres, beating the Angels 6-4 off our old nemesis, Kenley Jansen, now with the Los Angeles Angels. Amazing, amazing game for the Padres. Dylan Cease, first of all, great start by him. Don't want to forget about him. A second straight, really good start by him. 10 strikeouts in this one. Love to see it for a guy who's been really bad for a lot of the year. And then bullpen blows it. That's unfortunately been the story for this team for the last week or so. They've given up 30 runs in 17 innings lately. They have super regressed. Hopefully it's not permanent, but they've been bad. But let me tell you, after a wild series of events in the 8th, the Padres, they score. They tie the game. And it's all good because you know what happens? You got to get Tatis as many at-bats as possible. What does he do? Makes him pay. The hip control, the plate discipline, everything about Tatis this year, he is back in an MVP candidate with only Corbin Carroll possibly being in the race alongside him. We love you, man.
Javy rocking a new do actually
right.
in that video. All right, let's get your side of it from the Angels. How did you feel about this game and what happened tonight?
They got in their own way. And, when you have a fundamental infield coach like Ron Washington, who, is managing this team, you expect them to play fundamental baseball. But you got a Joe Adell error. You've got Logan O'Hoppe throwing the ball away to second base. You've got Taylor Ward playing a lefty pull hitter in Gavin Sheets all the way to the left field wall. And so he dinks and dunks a dinky-doo run in between left field and shortstop. What are you doing out there? So for me, the Angels got in their own way. As much as, I do enjoy the Padres, I think for as much as they put it on the Angels in this one, the Angels got in their own way, blew the lead, and just a frustrating loss overall, especially against such a good team like the Padres.
Yeah, and when a team is struggling, and it doesn't matter if they're a good team, bad team, when a team struggles, it's usually stuff like that, right? Where they are their own worst enemy. They find ways to lose, and that's kind of what it felt like happened in this game. Because for a while there, it looked like the Angels were in control, and then it got away from them. So, that was a tough one for them. We're going to head to Houston here. The Royals taking on the Astros. Royals beat up on the Astros starter yesterday. Can that offense stay hot against a much better pitcher and left-hander Framber Valdez? We got Brett from Locked On Astros with the scoop.
Folks, it was an Isaac Paredes party tonight. The Astros win. Hello, I'm Mason Wheelhouse here with Locked On Astros. And the Astros win 2-1. Some Peña power at La Tormenta tied it up 1-1. Framber Valdez was phenomenal. 8 innings pitched, 7 strikeouts. The last time he went 8 innings, only gave up 2 runs and a loss against the Royals. This time he flips the script on the Kansas City Royals, gets the win. They go for the series win on Wednesday. Hopefully you check out our latest episodes here on Locked On Astros. Make sure you make us your team every single day. And we're going to talk about the trend going on with Jeremy Peña, the lift on the ball, the team-leading home run. Paredes getting his first walk-off of his career, and how these small things can turn into big changes going forward in a time where they are struggling the most. But the Astros get back in the win column today. Go Stros.
Kansas City Royals starter Chris Bubich, he was really good again for the Royals. 6 1/3 innings, 1 run, 6 hits, 9 Ks. This is lost not on him. Has to do with the offense, though, doesn't it, John? A couple of big names didn't do much.
Yeah, 0 for 8 between Bobby Witt Jr. and Salvador Perez. When they're not hitting, it's tough to get anything going for the Royals offense. So you need those guys to come through, especially against a really tough pitcher like Framber Valdez.
The Marlins were in Chicago, and, the Marlins have taken on some of the best teams in the National League recently. They had to play the Dodgers twice. They're taking on the Cubs now. Did they have what it takes to pull off another upset against the North Stars? Well, we've got Sam Olber from Locked On Cubs on the finish at Wrigley Field.
Justin Turner, welcome to Chicago. Justin Turner with a walk-off 2-run double to beat the Marlins on Tuesday night. I'm Sam Olber from the Locked On Cubs podcast, and this was trending to be one of the worst losses of the season so far. The Cubs really struggled in a lot of ways on Tuesday night, but when you're playing a bad opponent, they're going to give you opportunities. The Cubs got an opportunity in the 9th inning, down 4-2. Carson Kelly with an infield hit, a really nice at-bat from Dansby Swanson, a great job by Nico Horner, and then Justin Turner comes up to the plate and walks off in the most dramatic way possible, down a run, a 2-run double to beat the Marlins. Moises Ballesteros made his debut. He went 0 for 4. We're going to talk about him and this dramatic Cubs victory in just about 15 minutes live with Locked On Cubs. That a baby, JT!
Cubs continue to lead the NL Central with my surging Cardinals rained out today in Philly. But, John, when you look at this division, do you see anyone actually keeping up with them, let alone catching them in the NL Central?
Look, the fact that the Cardinals had a 9-game win streak, I mean, that just that's the beauty of baseball. There's always one team at some point during the season that just goes on a tear. And so, you're sitting at 14-19, just a little over a week ago. And here you are neck and neck with the Chicago Cubs, who've been off to a great start. And so, yeah, I think it's going to be a very interesting race. Hopefully the Cardinals can keep up that momentum for you, JD.
Another team from the NL Central in action tonight. The Pirates were in New York to face the Mets. The Mets looking to continue their dominance at Citi Field, where they were a Major League best 16-4 at home, facing a Pirates team that is just in complete limbo right now, and they continue to sink. But it was a tighter game than I think most people would imagine. Here's Gary from Locked On Pirates with the Pittsburgh side of things.
The bottom of the ninth tonight was almost like watching a rerun of 5 or 6 innings earlier in the game. Hi, I'm Gary from Locked On Pirates, and the Pirates put on a clinic tonight of leaving runners in scoring position, 12 in total, 13 all day left on base. Nobody can get that big hit for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Brian Reynolds continues to have opportunity after opportunity. He is 0 for his last 18. And 2 for his last 43. Really bad stretch. Historically bad stretch for Brian Reynolds. And like I said yesterday, not even getting like those helpful contact type situational plays where he's hitting the ball in the air to the outfield. They had countless opportunities with runners at third and 1 out or less tonight. Senga was good. Lost in all this is that Mitch Keller was brilliant tonight. Brilliant. Definitely deserved a better fate. Gets an L hung on him for basically 2 swings in this one. It's a shame. Pittsburgh Pirates drop another one of the Mets. I'll be talking about it on Locked On Pirates tomorrow. Check it out.
Moving on to Tampa Bay at Toronto. This was an exciting one. Back and forth game in Toronto where the offenses were seeing the ball quite well, but it ends with a familiar sight for Blue Jays fans, didn't it, John?
Yeah, I watched the Blue Jays come to Anaheim, and I watched their closer, Jeff Hoffman, surrender 6 earned runs, 3-3 across 2 games. And that's what happened in this one. He's since then, he faced the Mariners, K'd the side 2 times this past weekend, but gives up the tying run. Chandler Simpson drives that in, and then a grand slam to Junior Caminero for the Rays to take this one over the Blue Jays 11-9.
Yeah, it's so deflating when you get to the closer and this is your guy. This is the guy that's going to lock it down, and then and you're just like, what happened? It's tough, and I imagine it's tough being a closer, having to go through those situations. Wrapping things up with the Rockies at the Rangers. Rangers fighting to stay alive in the AL West. Lucky for them, they get to take on the MLB punching bag in town, also known as the Colorado Rockies. How'd this one go, John?
Yeah, 4-1 victory for the Rangers. Josh Young, 2 home run day, drove in all the runs for the Rangers. Jack Leiter, a brilliant performance, 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 earned, 3 walks, and 5 Ks. Unfortunately for Kyle Freeland of the Rockies, also had a good start. 6 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 5 Ks. But he's 0-6 on the season. JD, we had the A's in 2023, the White Sox in 2024. The Rockies are the 2025 MLB punching bag, unfortunately, for Colorado fans.
Yeah, not good to be in Colorado right now if you're a baseball fan. A couple of games were postponed due to rain. Cardinals at the Phillies, Twins at the Orioles. Cardinals have won 9 in a row. Twins have won 8 in a row. 2 of the hottest teams in baseball get an extra day off, so hopefully they rest up and they're ready to rock tomorrow. That's going to wrap things up for us here at MLB Game Night. Thank you for joining us. We hope you'll come back and visit us next time on MLB Game Night. Every game, every night.